Good evening everyone, welcome to round 3 of the Trackstar's Touring Car Series for 2023. We are joined here live tonight from the historic Nurburgring 24-hour circuit. The drivers tonight will be competing on the full 25-kilometre layout in what is known as the Green Hell 250, so 10 laps of racing to take place tonight, and it will certainly be the survival of the fittest here as the drivers attempt to make it through unscathed and mistake free and hopefully claim a victory at the end of the race. We're just underway of qualifying at the moment. Of course, we've got a long time before drivers start their flying lap, so we'll have plenty of time to run you through the field of drivers tonight. Of course, leading the way on the track at the moment is Lansdell in the number 5 Mash Spuds Racing Lexus. He's been off to a solid start to the season in his rookie campaign. And of course the big news is that the Mash Spuds Racing squad has basically got a completely rejuvenated lineup with the addition of a new driver this week. Of course, Lansdell sitting 5th in the championship standings at the moment, with less than 20 points between himself and second place. Second on track as he just has an excursion into the grass. Takes on some damage, that's Campbell in the CP Motorsports number 12 Nissan. CP haven't quite had the start to the race that they would have, or start to the season they would have liked. Campbell unfortunately having a DNF last time out at Spa-Francorchamps, and that's left him sitting 13th in the standings so far. And then we've got Kosterok, previously known as Gabans, piloting the number 55 Intercontinental Esports Racing Group Lexus. This will be his first appearance of the season, I believe, so he makes the move into the ISO Racing Group lineup. And he'll be looking to complete the rest of the season, as he just has a bit of a moment there. So his first race of the season. Of course, he's got some German background, so this is essentially a home track for him. He'll be looking to impress tonight. Then 4th and 5th on track, see It's Racing Esports duo with Hamza in the number 95, as he just catches a bit of air coming through the later section before the run down to Dottinger Straight. So Hamza, our championship leader, 2 wins from 2 rounds so far. A perfect 600 points to start his campaign. And then of course Palmer in the number 96 Nissan GTR. He currently sits second in points on 485 points. But he does have a few drivers behind him, very close in points. So he'll be eager to get some good performances in tonight. Make sure that he cements his place second in the standings. Walker 5th on track in the WRT Motorsports number 964 Nissan. Then we have Ward in the number 20 RoboSport Racing Nissan GTR. So Ward down in 12th place. Unfortunately, he had a DNF last time out as well. Walker sitting 7th in the championship. We have Harcourt coming through now in the number 22 Nissan. And he's currently sitting 10th in the standings after the first 2 rounds. And then our driver making his debut for Matchbuds Racing tonight, of course. He was a reserve driver in the first 2 rounds of the season, racing for the ISA crew. And he's sitting 8th in the championship after those 2 rounds. And now he jumps into the MSR Lexus and takes his number 11 as well, so new number, new driver. The same striking livery there for the MSR Lexus. Then we have O'Shea in the number 50 CP Motorsports Nissan. He's currently sitting 4th in the championship standings. Only 16 points back from Palmer in second. Then we have a debutant in Powers. I think I'll have to get some pronunciation on his name, but we'll probably just go with Powers for tonight. So he'll be making his debut in the series here tonight for the ISA group. And he'll be piloting number 34 car. Then we have Oldman in the 151 for WRT Motorsport representing Nissan. He's currently 11th in points. And then a completely different lineup for WTC Racing. Bonduve and Scott both missing tonight. So it'll be Guida in the number 117 Lexus. And unfortunately, the 14th car of Patasso, who won the TS2 race and was going to drive the wildcard entry in the Lexus, has taken over the position in the WTC Racing 787, but unfortunately he's disconnected, so he's going to be starting from the rear for this race. But we'll jump back up towards the front. Lancel now on a flying lap here. But what we might do is we might ride on board with the championship leader of the moment in Hamza and just get a bit of a look of what it's like from inside the car around this 25-kilometre layout. So a mistake there from Hamza, that's going to really prove costly with his qualifying time. We'll follow along with Lansdale, who will be the first driver to complete his lap. Just heading through the mini carousel there. And taking the series of sweeping right-handers onto the Dottinger straight. Rapidly approaching 300 kilometers an hour. So Lansdale will be the first to come across the line. What time will he produce? Lay down as a marker for everyone else to chase. 7-minute 24.6. Next across the line will be Campbell. .7:25.1, so not quite as quick. Palmer approaching the start-finish line now. Palmer goes to the top with a 7:23.3. Walker comes across the line with 7:26. Next across the line will be Hamza, who will have a bit of a slower lap time. Lashbrook and Hardcourt 5th and 6th. Ward coming across the line a bit slower there. He'll be down the order. Costa Rock, he jumps to 8th ahead of the two cars, Nissans of Ward and Hamza, who've had an incident. Powers definitely doesn't look like he's going to be fast enough for pole position here. But it is enough to jump him to 10th. Oldman up into 8th place as well. Interesting to see, will they get another lap in? Guida comes across the line. He's the last driver to cross the line by the looks of things. He jumps to 7th with a 7:32 lap. Hardcourt's parked to the side of the road. So Lansdale 1.3 seconds up. Would be enough to take pole position at this point. Campbell's improved by a 10th. Let's see what Palmer does through this sector. He's 0.2 up himself. So he'll be looking to improve his time. Hamza nearly a second up over Palmer's time. And he'll certainly be hoping he doesn't get held up by Lashbrook in any way, but Lashbrook could be on a lap himself, so could be an interesting one where Hamza may have to try and get ahead. He has lost a few tenths here. Hamza now clearing Lashbrook on this lap. Hopefully, for Hamza's sake, it hasn't affected his lap too much. But it will be a desperate run to try and make it to the finish line. He's still 4/10 of a second up. Lashbrook making a mistake there. Lansdale heading through the carousel. Try and get another quick update on split times between everyone. Let's cross over into the last lap. So Lansdale should definitely make it around and complete a second lap. So he's 0.2 up on Palmer's first lap time. Campbell's lost 2 seconds on his first lap. Palmer 0.8 up on his fastest so far. Walker a bit slower there. Hamza 2.5 seconds up, so looking good for pole position if he can get around and complete the lap before the timer ends. That will be the biggest issue. Ward only gaining 2 seconds, not sure where he had the mistake on his qualifying lap. Don't think he's going to make it back around though, so he could be down the order. Powers in pit lane, he's aborted his lap. Lashbrook also in pit lane. Campbell's off the road, so he won't be improving on his lap. So Lansdale now, he'll be the first one to set a second lap time. We'll get one more sector time. Let's see where he's at this point. He's half a second ahead of Palmer for now. Will he be able to hold on to that through the final sector and make an improvement on his original lap time as he heads down the main straight towards the finish line? Lansdale's going to come across the line at 7:21.7, jumps to the top. Palmer though is a second up on what is now Lansdale's new benchmark, so let's see what Palmer will do as he heads to the finish line through to his last 2 corners and onto the main straight. Gets a good exit there. And he comes across the line 7:20.5, so Palmer back to pole position. Walker comes to the finish line. He's going to be down on his time. And it looks like they have run out of time for qualifying, so that's it for qualifying, and the 2 drivers that got the second lap made the most of it. Palmer on pole position with a 7:20.5. Then we have Lansdale joining him on the front row with a 7:21.7. Third place will be Campbell in the CP Motorsports Nissan. And then we've got Walker in 4th. So 4 different teams in the first 4 places. Then O'Shea, the second of the CP Motorsports entries, on 5th will in 5th place. And then we've got Lashbrook in 6th, Guida in 7th, Harcourt in 8th place, rounding out our first page. And then over onto the second page, it's Oldman in 9th, Costa up rounding out the top 10, and then Powers in 11th, Humza in 12th, Ward in 13th, and Patasso will be starting from the back of the grid, having failed to set a lap time thanks to his early disconnection. We'll be taking a short moment to have a quick break, and then we'll be back soon with the 250 kilometre 10 lap race here around the Nurburgring 24-hour layout. Alright, so race is about to get underway. Fourteen cars lined up on the grid. Palmer and Lansdale on the front row. 10 laps of the Nurburgring, 250 kilometers, and it all starts now. Looks like a bit of a slow start there from Palmer. Lansdale gets the run ahead of him on the way down to turn 1, covers the inside quite easily. Walker exits stage left as he goes past the point of the turn-in and off into the gravel trap. Looks like a bit of contact there between Campbell and Palmer. Lashbrook looking to make a move there on Palmer, as Campbell, I believe, has just sort of backed out of it, allowed Palmer to regain his position. So Lansdale out to 1.5 second lead early on. Palmer in second place, and then it's Lansdale's teammate and Lashbrook in third. Then we have Campbell in fourth, Guy to fifth, Harcourt in sixth, O'Shea in seventh, and Powers in eighth. As Campbell was looking for a way past Lashbrook up through to Schumacher S, and instead gets all out of shape, allows Guider up the inside into fourth place. Campbell looking for a way back as Guider runs a bit wide. And they'll head down this back straight into the S's, a bit more fast paced than what we normally see on the Grand Prix circuit. And Campbell just running a bit wide there. And now we exit the Grand Prix section and head on to the Nordschleife. And it's Lansdale leading the way through the Nordschleife, with Palmer closing in quickly and ready to put all kinds of pressure on Lansdale early on. Lashbrook out to a 1.2 second gap over Guider. So we've got Campbell, Harcourt, O'Shea, Hamza, Patasso up to ninth as well. So Hamza and Patasso making up some places early on. Walker still inside the top 10. Then we have Oldman, Costa, Ward and Powers. Just get that replay from early on in the race. Because it looks like there was a bit of contact there. We'll have to get another look at that one. And then cars all bunching up in that tight hairpin there. So maybe some slight contact from Lashbrook that caused that opening turn skirmish. And then Campbell and Palmer getting squished there on the tyre barriers. So back up at the front of the race. Lansdale still in the lead. Palmer just 6 tenths behind. As Palmer will be applying the pressure very strongly here throughout the Nordschleife. We'll certainly be careful not to make any ambitious moves in such a tight and tricky section of the track. So we look a bit further back. Guide is still being followed by Campbell. Campbell looking a little bit racy here. Can he try and find a way through though? These straights aren't really that straight, so the opportunity to make a pass doesn't really present itself that easily. As we say that, Hamza has made his way past O'Shea. And it looks like Harcourt's run wide there, opened up the door for Hamza to get ahead. So brilliant opportunity there for Hamza, and he's taken it with both hands. And a mistake there from Guida. Has seen him drop down the order. So he was just following closely behind Lashbrook. Bit eager to make a move on him and just see him rotate around. Some damage to the rear end of the car. And that's seen him drop down the order there. And with all that, Pitasso now up into 8th place, all over the back of O'Shea and Harcourt. Harcourt coming under all sorts of pressure. And O'Shea's run off the track. Bit of contact there between Guida and Pitasso, the two teammates. Walker is in amongst it as well, and I believe that Harcourt ran wide as well there, so a lot to unpack there. Hamza had a moment as well, so did Harcourt. It's almost like there's something on the track there. Not sure what's happening here. Pitasso looks like he's on the pause screen. He's dropping down the order here. As we head a bit further up the front, Lansdale coming around to complete the first of 10 laps. He holds an 8/10 of a second lead over Palmer. And then it's Lashbrook and Campbell 3rd and 4th. Campbell looking for a move on Lashbrook. Gets to the outside into turn 1. He's going to hold the advantage here in through turn 2. And he gets the job done there on Lashbrook. So Campbell up into 3rd place. Palmer still sitting a second back from Lansdale. Lansdale looks like he has a bit more pace through the GP section, which is very ominous for him. That'll be where you want to make most of the passing moves, where there's a bit more open space. And then just as we get to the Nordschleife, Palmer is starting to close up again. Palmer very close up against the pit exit wall there on the Nordschleife. Something you would not have gotten away with in Gran Turismo 6, as the invisible wall would have very much brought you to an abrupt halt and caused a fair amount of damage. But Palmer just applying all the pressure he can on Lansdale at the moment, trying not to make any mistakes himself, as we just saw him have a little bit of a moment there. As we see Hamza in 5th place now, from 12th on the grid. Walker sitting in 6th. Then we have Guider in 7th, O'Shea 8th, Patasso in 9th, Ward in 10th place, Harcourt in 11th, 12th is Costa Rock, 13th is Oldman, and then in 14th it's Powers. Lancel continuing to lead the way here, with Palmer in close pursuit. Hamza closing in on Lashbrook here. He certainly had the pace for pole position earlier on in qualifying. Now he's trying to make his way up the order here in the race. Certainly a back to front result would very much be on the cards for him. Plays the strategy correctly. There's the three cars of Campbell, Lashbrook and Hamza just closing up together a bit. Hamza of course has 0.2 of a second gap. Can he get a move done along here? It's certainly a difficult prospect. As the road just does move quite left to right. We certainly rely on a good run here. As Lashbrook goes on the defensive. Does a brilliant job of holding on to that position. But Hamza gets to run alongside him and makes a move around the outside, so Hamza moving clear there into 4th place. Doing an excellent job, and his sights will be set on 3rd position now. As he has hit the hazard lights there at some point. I think he's just recognised what he's done there and has now switched them off, and focus now turning to Campbell in front. Walker building a bit of a gap here over O'Shea. The battle for 6th place. Patasso looks to be up into 8th now, I think. He's made a move ahead of Guider. And Ward at the back end of the top 10. So Palmer trying to line himself up for a run down to Dottinger Straight. He's certainly got the exit he needs and is well and truly entrenched in that slipstream of Lansdale. As the gap continues to close in as we head up over the rise. It drops. The gap dropping ever so slightly Doesn't look like he's going to be close enough as we head into this final chicane. And Palmer now diving to the pit, so he's certainly going the strategy of the undercut here. We'll be hoping to make it work and come out into some clean air. As Hamza also joining him in the pit, so clearly a strategy play here from the two It's Racing Esport drivers. They've got a game plan that they're very much sticking to for this race. O'Shea also joining the It's Racing Esports drivers in the pits along with Ward. So Palmer coming back out on track. He comes out ahead of Guida in 6th place. And what's going to be interesting is the driver in 5th place. Just 3.3 seconds ahead of Palmer. And that is, of course, the team manager of Mashspuds Racing, so Patasso could potentially play a role here if Palmer catches to the back of Patasso. Patasso may look to do his best to hold Palmer behind and certainly help out the prospects of Lansdale in this race. Hamza coming out in 9th place here, just behind Harcourt. A little bit of minor contact there. Doesn't look to have affected Harcourt too much. As Hamza now entering the Nordschleife. Will be eager to try and get a move done here, but of course he's got to pick his moment and get it done cleanly as well. And we've got a good run there. Let's head down the hill towards Flagplatz. Up over the rise. And the move is done. He's into 8th position. Palmer has already taken a second out of the gap between himself and Patasso. Crucially, it looks like that gap between himself and Lansdale is also dropping as well. It's probably something we should have kept an eye on as he left the pits, what the gap was between the two. I imagine 30 seconds might be the magic number here for Lansdale to make a trip down pit lane and come out ahead of Palmer. Could even be slightly more than that as well. As Palmer is rapidly approaching the back of Patasso here. Gap down now to 1.7 seconds. It looks like Palmer is very much making the use of those grippier soft tyres compared to the mediums that Patasso is running. replay here. No, looks like we've missed that move between Hamza and Guida. Certainly hard to tell with some of these moments whether it's game lag or whether these drivers are having moments. Tasso got the gap down to half a second between himself and Walker. Some of the spectators enjoying some beats there in the background. Certainly Walker struggling for grip here. Tasso certainly would be eager to make a clean move as he gets onto the grass, and that's going to be a bit costly for him. And now suddenly that brings Palmer into play a bit here. It's like a bit of a moment for Walker. Oh, he just pushes Palmer a bit wide there. And Palmer now getting the job done there on Walker, but Walker's going to have a slipstream down this straight. We'll have a quick look back and see what happened there for Walker, for him to drop back. He just got off into the grass on the exit of the mini carousel. Now Walker and Palmer side by side down the Dottinger Straight. As Lansdale, Campbell and Lashbrook all into pit lane. Walker coming under attack from Palmer. Palmer makes a dive to the inside into turn 1. Gets the move done nicely, and crucially he's come out 2 seconds ahead of Lansdale as well in the battle for the lead. So it's advantage Palmer here, making the jump over Lansdale with the undercut. Of course, an extra 25 kilometres of use on those soft tyres may come into play later on the race. But Palmer now your effective race leader. Just 1.5 seconds back to Patasso, who is yet to pit. So probably on corrected order at the moment. It'll be Palmer, Lansdale and then Hamza as your top 3. And then Campbell in 4th. Guida 5th, Lashbrook in 6th. So Lansdale has made his way past Walker here. Walker doesn't look to be giving up that position easily though. Looks like he's just being gapped now though. And that has allowed Hamza to close in. Gap is just 2 seconds between Hamza and Walker. Walker just running wide there. Catching a bit of grass on the exit of the corner. Hamza running wide himself. Having his own moment in the grass. But now all over the back of Walker. He's looking to make this move very quickly. Fakes to the left and then dives to the right. Gets the move done on Walker. Brilliant job there. And now Hamza will certainly have his sights set on Lansdale, which will effectively be a battle for second place. So Palmer still sitting about 1.5, 1.6 back from Patasso. I wonder if he's just sort of taking it easy a bit here. Maybe just sitting back from the dirty air, maybe trying not to use up those tyres as much, knowing that Patasso is going to pit eventually. There's a loud squeal there from in the headset. Thought there might have been a mistake there from Lansdale, but doesn't look to be the case. Lansdale's certainly upping the ante here a bit. The gap between himself and Palmer is certainly decreasing a lot quicker than it is between Hamza and Lansdale. But as I say that, I think the gap's gone back out to about 2.7 seconds. And Patasso with a bit of a mistake there, heading towards the Dottinger Straight. And Palmer has seen that as an invitation to get a run onto the Dottinger Straight. He's certainly closed the gap in now. We're looking to get within the slipstream. Maybe try and make a move down here on the run into turn 1. Looks like anything towards the end of the lap might be a bit out of the question. And as we say that, Patasso bailing to pit lane and hands over the race lead to Palmer with a 2.7 second gap between himself and Lansdale. A similar gap between Lansdale and Hamza as well. He's certainly on the hunt for second place at this point and potentially even a race win. So we'll see where Patasso comes out in all this. Looks like he'll come out in 6th position. O'Shea currently running in 7th. Ward in 8th. And then Walker exiting pits into 9th position. Old Man continuing on the medium tyres. So that'll be lap number 5 on the mediums. Hardcore out on the softs. So he looks to jump up into the top 10 possibly. Guide has just dropped off a bit here. He's down in 12th at the moment. So gap between Palmer and Lansdale is actually closing up a little bit. So this could be a reverse of the first stint in the race, where it is now Lansdale that harasses the back of Palmer. That being said, Lansdale probably needs to be a little bit more worried about Hamza approaching. There's a gap between them, just 1.7 seconds at the moment, compared to the 2.2 second gap between Lansdale and Palmer. So Lansdale now approaching about a 1 second gap between himself and Palmer. And between the two, it's basically even gaps between the first 3 cars. Certainly uncertain which way it'll end up going between the 3 drivers as to who will catch who first. Great run out of the carousel there by Lansdale. And the gap is just 0.6 between himself and Palmer. And similarly, Hamza on the back of Lansdale. So we've now got a freeway battle for the lead. certainly Palmer feeling the pressure there a bit, and he runs wide. That allows Lansdale through. And now they're all three cars nose to tail. So Lansdale now in the lead of the race, relegating Palmer to second, and Humza sitting in third as we head towards the Dottinger Straight. This will certainly provide an opportunity for order of positions to change again. As Palmer closes up to the back of Lansdale, will he make a move down towards the chicane here? And they go side by side. Just a car width between the wall there on the exit, and then Palmer now jumps into the lead of the race, goes on the defensive down the pit straight. Lansdale now diving to the left. Palmer holding steady there in the lead. Bit of nose to tail contact between turns 1 and 2. Lansdale all over the back of Palmer. Humza all over the back of Lansdale. As Humza will be eager to get ahead of Lansdale and possibly make it. Have a look at Palmer as well for the race lead. And of course Lansdale very much eager to take the lead himself. Like a bit of a wide run there through the Schumacher as for Lansdale. Probably got in the dirty air a bit. And now he appears to be coming under attack from Humza. Who's well and truly in the slipstream heading towards this quick left-right chicane. As we head on to the hairpin that separates the GP circuit from the Nordschleife. Oh, a bit of contact there between Humza and Lansdale as Humza tried to make a move up the inside. And this has just given Palmer a bit of breathing room here. As the gap now extends out to 1.5 seconds between the two. And suddenly Lansdale looking from going on the attack to very much being on the defensive against Humza. As we are now past the halfway point of the race. 5 laps completed, 5 laps to go. Humza eager to try and make a move here. Lansdale just positioning that car perfectly to prevent the move from taking place. But Humza certainly harassing the back of the number 5 MSR Lexus. Oh, and there's contact between the two. Lansdale's gone off into the grass. It looks like it spun him around and into the path of Humza, who has copped significant damage from that as well. Likewise for Lansdale, so that certainly isn't the way that things wanted to go between the two of them. And unfortunately, in amongst that, Campbell has dropped out of the race as well, so very unfortunate for the CP Motorsports team. And of course Campbell, I believe that's the second week in a row that Campbell has dropped out of the race. And he was sitting well in 4th place, so very unfortunate luck there for Campbell and the CP Motorsports team. So the incident between Humza and Lansdale, I think we'd put that down to a racing incident, quite honestly. But it's certainly given Palmer a bit of a break here, with nearly a 10-second lead. Although, with the form that Humza is in at the moment, I certainly wouldn't call a 10-second lead a significant one at this point. Especially when the fastest lap comparisons are about 3 seconds between the two drivers. So we'll look a bit further back up along the order for now. Lashbrook inheriting 4th place here from the disconnection of Campbell. So it's currently a It's Racing 1-2 with an MSR 3-4, but the team manager of MSR is all over the back of his own car whilst he performs a fill-in role for WTC Racing. So certainly a conflicting scenario there that I'm sure Patasso would definitely want to score the best result he can for himself. But also keep the team points or MSR in mind, possibly. I'm sure there's still plenty to play out in this race, so I'm sure Patasso will certainly be giving it his all towards the end. O'Shea continuing to continuing to score some points here for CP Motorsports. He's up in 6th place. So it'll certainly be crucial for him to score a good result here for the team. Got Ward in 7th place at the moment. He just has a bit of a moment there on the exit of the mini carousel. Walker continuing his fine run in 8th place. Certainly one of those drivers that just seems to quietly go about his business. Always racking up those results, keeps the points ticking over. Seems to always be within the top 10 at the end of the race. Hardcore, another driver that seems to be finding himself within the top 10. Certainly some consistent driving from our current manager of Robo Sport Racing. Of course, RSR in their farewell season, with Robo Sport stepping aside and the team becoming known as RN Racing for Trackstars competition in 2024. Oldman sitting in 10th place, doing a fine job here. I don't believe he has made his pit stop yet, so he's still running around on the medium tyres. And just confirmation there from Powers that his game has crashed, so that's the result of his disconnection. So unfortunately that brings us down to 12 drivers. Costa Rock continuing in 11th place. And Guida sitting in 12th. Gap between Palmer and Hamza down to 6 seconds at the moment in the lead of the race. A similar gap forming between Hamza and Lansdale. Tasso jumping up into 4th place here, so he's made the jump ahead of Lashbrook, but unfortunately 17.8 seconds behind Lansdale at the moment. Certainly curious about early on in the race, it looked like he was on the pause screen. Lost a lot of time. Not sure what the situation was there, but it probably proved a little bit costly. He potentially could have found himself in that battle with the front three drivers as well. So under 5 seconds a gap now between Hamza and Palmer, so Hamza still very much in contention for this race. And he'll definitely be looking to go 3 from 3 and continue his perfect start to the season. Of course, the only blip so far has been the qualifying session we've just seen earlier on. But Hamza very much lighting up the times with purple sectors. Not sure what happened there. There was a green flag waving. Doesn't look like there was a mistake there from Palmer, who's the only car really anywhere near that area of the track. So that view is certainly giving you a bit of a snapshot of the top three of the race. Very much looks like it's Palmer, Hamza and Lansdale in the top three. Tasso just falling back a bit from Lansdale. Flashbrook about 6 seconds back. Field seems to be very well spread out at the moment. Except for Oldman, who looks to have had a bit of a moment there and dropped to the back of the field. That's promoted Costa up into the top 10. So we're on lap 8 of 10. So 3 laps remaining in the race. Hamza just setting the fastest lap with a 7:13.8. And this would probably have to be the most significant battle on track between the two It's Racing Esports teammates. Hamza looks to close that gap between himself and Palmer. Palmer just punching in those 7:17 laps. Last 2 times around, just a bit wide there on the exit. That's probably going to give Hamza a bit of time to catch up, and I think a bit of dirt on the tyres there as well. Just giving Palmer a sideways moment. Now the gap down to 1.8 seconds. Between the two It's Racing Nissans. Of course, Oldman, the last driver to complete his pit stop, he was definitely looking like he couldn't go another lap on fuel. So he's completed that stop. Of course, he switched those mediums over to soft tyres as well. So that satisfies his pit stop requirements for the race. Of course, coming out about 35 seconds back on 11th place, so unless there's a big mistake later on in the event, I don't think he's going to improve on that 12th place position. And we've just got back to the leaders and caught Palmer running wide into the grass. Gap between himself and Hamza now basically insignificant, even though it's about half a second. Hamza is right on the back of Palmer here. Palmer still continuing to lead the way, but I feel like it's a matter of time before Hamza takes the lead. But Palmer certainly isn't just moving aside and letting him take the lead. Palmer just has a little squiggly moment there before we get to the carousel. He's certainly right on the limit of braking. It's Palmer very much hugging that curb through the carousel. Hamza all over the back, looking for a way through to take the lead of the race. You can certainly sense the pressure that Palmer is under. And it is probably affecting the gap between these two cars and Lansdale as well. Is Lansdale just taking that gap between himself and Hamza from 10 seconds to nearly 8 seconds now. So Hamza will be looking for a clean one here onto the Dottinger straight. It's certainly close enough. 0.5 of a second the gap. Can he get himself enough in the slipstream to make a move down here? Looks like there might have been a bit of bump drafting between the two. Certainly I think Hamza has chosen to push Palmer along rather than try and make a move. But maybe the move might be coming here on the run down into turn 1. As we cross over into lap 9 of 10. 2 laps remaining in the race. Certainly would have thought that Hamza would have made a move ahead by now. But it doesn't look like he's in a huge hurry to get the move done. As Palmer runs wide there and now hands the lead over to Hamza. So a bit of a mistake there from Palmer. And our current series leader now moves into the lead again. As he looks to keep this current winning streak going. Palmer just struggling there a bit. He probably needs to really gather himself up here as Lansdale is now closing in. The gap down to 3.6 seconds. Not sure if there was a bit of a moment there for Hamza, but looks like he has run off the track there somewhere. As he looks to be weaving, maybe cleaning those tyres up a bit. Wow, big moment there for Ward. Very lucky to get away with that one. Guided now up into the top 10. He's got a 4-second gap over Kosterok. As Oldman seems to have lost touch of his group a fair bit. He's 50 seconds back on Kosterok in 11th. Interesting. This is probably the closest battle on track at the moment. And you probably wouldn't even call it a battle, to be completely honest. As Hamza seems to have the pace over Palmer at this point in the race. Barring any mistakes, you would say that it would probably remain Hamza ahead of Palmer. But interestingly, Lansdale is closing up here on Palmer as well, so second place could come under threat here. Crucially, it would be a battle that sort of decides who ends up in second place in the championship as well. At least at the end of the third round, of course. There's a 20-point gap between second and third place. Would certainly be enough to switch positions. If Lansdale did end up ahead, he would certainly move ahead of Palmer in the championship standings. I think it would be just 1 point between the two drivers if that were to be the case. And then similarly, if Palmer can hold on to second place, he would extend that margin out to 39 points over Lansdale. So Hamza coming across the line. Begins lap number 10 of 10. Final lap for the number 95 Nissan. And roughly 7 minutes away from making it 3 round wins from 3 rounds so far in the championship. And what would be a perfect 900 points in the Drivers' Championship standings. Gap is 3.7 between Humza and Palmer, who's sitting in second place. More crucially, it's around 2 seconds between Palmer and Lansdell, which is where probably the closest on-track battle is at the moment. As we just run through the order here. Very much the closest battle between Palmer and Lansdell. Gap is 2.5 seconds as we head on to the Nordschleife for the final time tonight. The wear indicator's certainly not looking good for Palmer. He's certainly got some worn tyres there. Gaps down to 1.4 between Lansdale and Palmer. So we get your closing stages of this final lap. I think Lansdale's going to need to be about half a second away from Palmer heading on to Dottinger Straight. I don't think he's quite got enough here, as Palmer has that 1 second gap. Certainly looks a lot closer than a second. But we cross back to the race leader. Hamza heading underneath the Bilstein Bridge for the final time. Just a few more corners to negotiate here. As he rounds the final corner now, and it's going to be 4 race wins in a row for Hamza, as the number 95 It's Racing Esports Nissan crosses the line for his 3rd consecutive round win. Palmer's going to cross the line in second for It's Racing Esports 1-2. And then it'll be Lansdale crossing the line in a fine 3rd place. A very spirited drive there from Lansdale. And certainly a well-deserved podium finish from him. Patasso crosses the line in 4th as a wildcard / WTC Racing fill-in. Then it's Slashbrook. He'll come across the line, the 2nd Mash Spuds Racing car, to round out the top 5 finishes. O'Shea will come across the line in 6th in the number 50 CP Motorsports Nissan to salvage some crucial points for the team and also for himself. Ward unfortunately qualified further down the order tonight and was behind the 8 ball from the start, but manages to salvage 7th place. Walker coming across the line in 8th after that first lap excursion. Next driver to approach the finishing line will be Harcourt, as he looks to take 9th place. I get the feeling that Oldman will probably run out of time before the race timer ends. Unfortunately, they don't have an unlimited time in this race like they did in GT Sport. Guida coming across the line to round out the top 10. Does a fine job in his reserve driver role for WTC Racing for the absent Von Duve. And then Kosterok coming down the pit straight now to take 11th place. And unfortunately, it looks like Oldman will run out of time here. But I believe he will still be classified as a finisher in this race. So big congratulations there to Hamza on the 3rd consecutive round win to start the season. Three rounds so far, 3 wins there from Hamza. As we just go into a recap of the results. It's of course Hamza taking the win with the It's Racing Esports teammate of Palmer crossing line in second. And then rounding out your podium finishes was Lansdale in the Mash Spuds Racing number 5 Lexus. And in 4th place it was Pitasso, covering for the vacant Scott, who was absent from tonight's race. So he crossed the line in 4th. Lashbrook in his first appearance for Mash Spuds Racing. Of course, he's been in the first 2 rounds of the season. He crosses the line in 5th. And he'll keep his championship points ticking over. And then finishing off at the first page, it's O'Shea for CP Motorsports in the number 50 Nissan. Ward in the number 20 Nissan GTR, fielded by Robbo Sport Racing, and then the WRT Motorsport car. Of course, another Nissan from Walker, rounding out the first page of results in 8th place. And then we have Ward's teammate in Harcourt in number 22, Robbo Sport Racing Nissan in 9th. Guider rounding out the top 10 in the second, WTC Racing Lexus. And then the last 2 of our finishes were Costa Rock in 11th and Oldman in 12th. And unfortunately for Campbell and Powers, they were both unable to make the finish. So big thanks to everyone joining in. Hope you enjoyed the coverage tonight and the racing that all of these drivers put on tonight for everyone to watch. We will have some racing action next week, I believe. Just double check our calendar here. I believe it will be the TS2 cars in action, possibly. No, it isn't actually. It is the TS3 touring cars and the Trackstars Touring Car Series. They will both be in action next week at Brands Hatch for the English Sprint. So that'll be taking place next Sunday night. So unfortunately I won't be available for that one, but I'm sure we will have someone else in the commentary box and running the stream for you to tune in to the action for the main series, Trackstars Touring Car Series. And of course I'm sure we will see the likes of Ryan Palmer and Nick Pitasso in commentary and streaming for the TS3 touring cars next week as well. So until then, thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to your company next